Hello, hello.
Hello. I'm recording this for Sharon.
Okay.
I thought maybe with the lockdown she'd join us, but I guess not.
Okay.
So did you do your homework?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How'd it go?
For me, it was good. I actually, at one point, I was in the store and I was jamming out to this music that was on the stereo or whatever, and then I moved my energy over this family. And all of a sudden, I don't know what language they were speaking, but it was like super loud. But what was interesting was I didn't turn down the music, so the music was super loud and they were super loud.
Oh, wow.
So I was still kind of in my world, and I just kind of included them. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Right on. It's pretty neat how we can tune our attention, huh?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, and we all do it all the time anyway, but we're gonna, focus on it and do new things with it that we haven't thought of before.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Tita? You got a report?
Well, a couple times. I'm stuck in the house a lot, like everybody. So I thought I would extend my space to my front porch. And I found the mailman coming. Just walk to the front door and meet the mailman because I can hear him coming, so to speak. It's not exactly my ears. I spend a lot of time when I'm home talking to neighbors as they pass by because it's a very busy traffic street. So what I've been doing is checking when they're across the street, walking up the hill, and walking the dog typically, and tuning in. And yeah, I can hear the conversations a lot better. And I also, as I'm sure you've all experienced, I like them a little better when I do it. It's just sort of warmth goes out.
Exactly. I mean, you're creating connection. And when we have connection, we share, and when we share, we start liking. You feel that affinity, so awesome. Wonderful. So, part of my reason for going over this material is for assisting in May. Because, Tita's done this many times before, but you've not assisted before, neither has Sharon, so she'll get to hear this on video. But the first job of a first-tier assistant, which is what I consider you, like the first time assisting, is to love the space and love what's happening and to love whatever's going on, even if people freak out. And to do that, it's about having the entire room in your space, which means your space envelops the entire room. Like, I know when I've taken workshops before, and I can see it on people's faces, you take a workshop and you're listening to the information, and pretty soon the only thing that matters is how we process the information, and our space gets pulled in when we do that. So as an assistant, your job is to keep your space out and to not get wrapped up in processing the information. The idea is that you get the information before class so that you don't process it during class.
Right. I get that. Yeah.
And if you do, it's back burner. It doesn't consume your attention because you're always going to be processing anyway. But if it can be back burner, then you can have your attention on the room and maintain the feeling of love and connection. Because basically what's going on from one perspective, right? From one perspective, what's happening during a workshop is there's a tension between love and connection and triggering and freak out. And so here I am saying things to stir people up, to get them to look at those things, process them, and let them go without being triggered and without freaking out. So energetically, what typically happens for me is I'll put something out there and then I can feel everybody's ego freak out back at me. It all happens silently, but there's a huge pushback. And if there's 10 people in the room wanting to trigger, it's a lot of energy that I've got to put out to tamper it down, to keep them calm and to keep it from exploding. If it's only me teaching the class and I have no assistants, I can't do that with 10 people. I get overwhelmed, they all get triggered, and then I get triggered, and then the class falls apart. Because, it's 10 against 1, it's a lot. I can handle 4 or 5, which is why my classes are all, small in the beginning. But when I have assistants, I can expand this out, because if you're anchoring the room, which means you're just there and you're just loving what I'm saying, and yeah, you might feel this person over here start to get triggered and freak out, but instead of judging me for saying that, or thinking I'm wrong for triggering them, or instead of thinking they're wrong for being triggered, like whatever that is, we let that go and just love that I said that, love that they're being triggered, love that it's being handled, and that keeps the energy flowing. It also keeps people from freaking out. So if people like start feeling triggered, but the whole room is full of love, like they just can't get it out of their mouth. They can't be triggered because the room feels too good. So people get triggered when they feel lonely, when they feel alone, like it's them against the world. So our job is to maintain connection so they always feel connected and never feel like they're in that place where they're all alone and they have to freak out or they have to get triggered.
Okay.
So,
no, that's cool. I feel like I just learned something.
Yeah, right on. So, I mean, that's... I always say that I don't script my workshops, and I don't. I never know what I'm going to say. I never know what the exercises are going to be. I never know what we're going to do. But what I do know is that I'm putting energy out that's stirring people up. And they're getting stirred up, and they have to get stirred up enough to recognize it and let it go, but not so much that they explode and leave. So, like that's the dance I'm playing, and everything I do or say is about managing that dance.
Okay.
Everything I do and say is about managing that dance. So as an assistant, your job is just to maintain connection with the people, connection to me, notice the connection I have with them, notice the connection they have with each other. The more you notice, what you notice helps define what is going on. If you notice we're all connected, that helps solidify the reality that we're all connected. So you have to be involved and like actively like, oh yes, we're all connected and I feel this. You have to actually be feeling the connection. If you feel connected to somebody, it makes it really hard for them to disconnect from you, because we all love connection, So as an assistant sitting in the back of the room in silence, your job is to maintain connection with everybody so that they want to stay and that they want to get through it. If you throw people in a room to hear what I have to say without the love and without the connection, and they just roll their eyes and leave, or they get mad and leave, or they get mad and want to hit me, So that is my reason for teaching you this information, so that when you show up, you can assist in a conscious way, right? In a way that helps.
I appreciate that.
Awesome. Now, there's also a billion other things you can do with this information. So, right. So you get to figure that out on your own, play with it how you want, and see what you learn.
Yeah.
I'm happy to bounce ideas off of each other and like share like what we did with the information and how it works, but I don't want to meet you every week and give you a new exercise to do. Then you just become dependent on me. But you can learn stuff on your own. You just throw your space out around something and see what's happening with it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the higher level of this, and we don't want to be doing this in class because we want people holding their own power. But if you're walking down the street and you see two people mad at each other, you can throw your space around them and love them and give them the energy they need to reconnect and understand one another again. Because when people start going high to high potential, they start separating, the distance becomes greater, and instead of whispering, they start lobbing words.
Right.
Right? So if you include them in your space and you can feel that energy, then you can shift how it feels. When you shift how it feels for you, if they're in your space, then you're also shifting for how it feels for them.
Right.
And it's pretty subtle, but just noticing how people's energy shifts. Responsibility means respond with your abilities. It doesn't mean credit or blame. It doesn't necessarily mean control. And it's not good or bad. But if you see somebody getting mad at someone and you put your space around them and you feel how unnecessary it is, you don't have to jump in and tell them something. You don't have to jump in and put your hand in their face. You can just do it energetically and just feel it out.
That's way better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not always appropriate. Right, it's not always appropriate, but this is something you can learn. This is something that's learnable because, remember, we shift our feelings with our breath. Breathing rhythms affect our emotions. So if you tune into somebody and they get you breathing, right? You're breathing that way because you're feeling what they've got going on. And now you change your breath and have this new thing you're feeling in your space. They're going to feel that and their breathing's going to change.
Yeah.
And it won't happen every time. It's subtle. But the more you practice, the more causative you can become this way.
Well, and I think I'm totally ready for this because I'm very causative. Like Heather and I, we just moved, but this whole thing going on right now is kind of, so we're at the mother-in-law's, you know.
Oh wow!
So yesterday we were triggering the heck out of each other, but we kept breathing. So every time we triggered, we just went past it.
Nice.
You know? And by the end of the conversation, we were like, everything was great. It was fantastic. So like we're very aware, like ourselves, and being, you know, responsible, not from taking, like you said, you know.
Right. Right.
But anyways, I like the idea of taking it to the next step.
Good.
But I definitely got the first step, you know, down.
Excellent. So it feels like coming in May is probably not going to be possible.
Right.
You know. So.
But probably.
Yeah, and so I think what I'm going to do, and this just came to me while I was sleeping last night or this morning, is start a weekly call-in, like Facebook Live or YouTube Live, where I'm on the camera and anybody can call in. I won't charge for it, but I'll open this up to Circle of Miracles people, at least as a starting place, you know. And then they can call, and it's in group, like, you know, from Friday morning my time, 10 to noon or something. Anybody can call, ask your questions, listen to other people's questions, whatever. But then I think what I'll do is charge people when they want to call in one-on-one.
Right.
Or at other times. So just have this one free time every Friday or whatever day it is for an hour or two. And that just feels like the next step for me, which means, I mean, I would also like you calling, you know, being there as well. Because assisting in the room or assisting on video, it's the same.
Right.
So your space doesn't have to start here at your heart and then go out from your body in a circle. You can have, like right now, I could just put some of my space or have a little bubble around Sean. It doesn't have to be connected here, you know. The thing is, the empty space in our atoms is the same everywhere. That, you know, like we are like 99.99999% empty space. That's mostly what we are. And that empty space is everywhere.
Right.
So, you know, that emptiness, that is your blank slate. That emptiness is the blank slate upon which you can write your imagination. And then watch it appear in the physical. So, if you think that you're the physical, the atoms that bounce off each other, then having your space on the other side of the planet makes no sense because there's no physical connection.
Right,
but if you align with the space and recognize that you yourself, as the immortal soul that's observing your life, exists within that empty space. It doesn't exist in these atoms that are temporary. The empty space is permanent. It's not going anywhere. So, you align with that, then anything is possible. Anything is possible. If you have, if anything is possible if your ego does not debate with it. If your intellect does not debate. So if your intellect understands how something is possible, then you can do it.
That's when you get the experience from doing the exercises.
Exactly.
Like, right. I had one experience where I had put my energy, but I was connected, so I like put my energy over them and me. But then we went down different aisles, and I felt the connection disappear, but I could still hear them. I was like, "That's weird." So yeah, okay, I'm in.
You're in. Okay, so when we do we need to figure out what day of the week, what time. So it needs to work for everybody, including Sharon. And this will just be great practice for assisting the workshop, and it's great practice for teacher training too.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I think for you and Sharon, the idea is you help maintain the energy in the shared video space. But that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. It doesn't mean you aren't participating. I mean, you're taking the class also. It's just that in addition to taking the class, you've also got your space going on and feeling the energy and keeping it high so people don't lose their shit.
All the way across the country.
Right.
I have to say, this is the most complete explanation of being an assistant you've ever given.
Oh, really?
There's things new. I mean, remember the first few times we kind of picked it up as we went along. I said, all I'm really doing is holding the space. And you go, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. After the second or third time, So this is more detail and more of the intellectual basis of what we were doing.
Good.
I think I kind of did it by guess and by golly once or twice.
Yeah.
So it's going to be much easier to start.
Good. Good. So,
outstanding.
For today, I don't have a lot of room on my video, so I kind of want to cut this short so I can send Sharon a complete thing. I don't want her missing anything that we talk about. I don't want her feeling like she's missing out. So,
Bye, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. So, how about we're done for today? Let's figure out when we could do this weekly call-in. Now, a lot of people are going to be working from home or not working anymore, so it's whatever time works for us is going to be perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
but we'll let Sharon figure that out. What's that?
I'll take a look at my schedule.
Okay.
And I'll let you know. The only thing that could throw a little bit of a wrench is I may or may not be getting a promotion. So who knows? I went in for the interview.
Well, I mean, when would you find?
My schedule might change on me. So.
Oh. So I need to write to the minister at Circle of Miracles and explain to her that I don't think I'm going to make it in May, and also explain to her that I'm going to offer the workshop for free online for Circle of Miracles people, because I feels like that's just how I'm going to have to start teaching, and so it'll be great practice. It'll be great practice, and just tell people, look, it's your lucky day. It's going to be my first online workshop. It'll be free if you want it. Send in a donation if you like. Send in Purell or toilet paper. I'm kidding. So it's going to be a week for me to write that and for her to get it and for her to respond and for me to figure out what she thinks of it. She might say, do it Wednesday night and then we'll have a big video screen here at Circle of Miracles. I don't know how
it's couple days, so.
Yeah. Oh, so it'll be a week or two before we actually do the online thing.
Okay, then I'm totally good.
Okay, cool. And then my plan is that next week we'll meet the four of us, including Sharon, and on that day, then I'll have a better idea of what that's going to look like and like what day it'll be. And then meanwhile, hopefully, if we all pick out days that will work, there will be a time that works for everybody, I'm sure. And for me, it's any time at all. So I'm 24/7. Whatever works for you guys, I'm good. But I prefer in the morning my time.
Okay.
Me too. This is like the 1 hour of the week that I have scheduled.
Exactly.
Aside from church services and such, which are all going online anyway.
Right.
So my singing teacher, which I've had for a couple of years, Tuesdays at 2 are really the only time I can get in.
Okay. Oh, you mean? To see your singing teacher, but she's not doing that anymore, is she? I mean,
we're doing it just like this.
Oh, okay. So then it won't. Okay, so we can do a different time. So Tuesday at 2:00 doesn't work for you.
Yeah, but almost everything else does, including late night.
Okay. So I prefer morning. I don't care what day of the week it is. We'll hear what Sharon has to say, and then meanwhile we'll just confirm our schedules next week. Figure out what we want to do.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yay! Thanks so much for being available.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you.
I'm glad to see that everybody's still cheerful. I know a lot of people out there are kind of freaking out, so it's good to see you all doing okay.
You know me, man.
I know, it's like go with the flow.
Let's go, baby. I'm ready. Bring it on.
All right, on.
And I've got an invisible sun shining on.
What's that?
I've got an invisible sun shining on.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
It's all good.
All right, cool. Well, then we will. Well, if I don't talk to you individually before then, we'll just meet next week. But if this time doesn't work for you, Tita, is the next hour better?
Yeah, because I won't be out on the road. I'll just be at home, so the next hour is perfect.
Can you do it 6 o'clock on Tuesday, Sean?
Absolutely. Yes.
What about Sean?
6 o'clock on Tuesday? Yeah, next week?
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay, so it'll be 3 o'clock for us, Tita.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Well, I'll see you then.
All right.
All right. Keep your space clean.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ciao.
Save my space. Bye.
Bye.